Evans from IU and fellow Hoosier, and I just want to say that I'm grateful for the services that IU Health provides in my district in Goshen, LaPorte, Stark County, and we're grateful for your service there. Mr. Evans, can you speak to this issue of leadership in a multi-billion-dollar facility as large as the VA is? And I guess, what we've heard continually on this committee in all these hearings is this constant proclamation that says it's leadership, it takes leadership. You guys have all talked about it today. But given that Indiana has done such a phenomenal job, IU has as well, and I'm proud of the IU system in Indiana and the standard that you have set. But can you just speak to, as we look at even some of the things the Chairman just read about, we have an acting secretary, we have a soon-to-be secretary, could be vetted, could be the next person selected. Can you just speak to what is that issue with leadership in a facility this large?
That's a big question.
I know.
That's a really big question, and any of the gentlemen here could answer it just as well, if not better, than I. First of all, I work in the building where I was born. The people that I see every day are my friends and neighbors, literally. So it's difficult for me to relate to someone who's a journeyman manager and maybe managing a facility where he could be gone in a while. So the first thing I think is demonstrable passion about the work. And you don't have to be a resident CEO, you can be a journeyman superintendent administrator to do that. So here was my measure when I first became CEO of IU Health. And I learned a little bit of this from Quint and his colleagues, is if I went to a meeting and the word patient wasn't mentioned in the first 5 or 6 minutes, I just figured I was at the wrong meeting. So who's the keeper of the flame in a big institution? It's the CEO, the superintendent, the general director, the chair of the committee, the president of the United States, the secretary. That's the person. So you got to engage people in the core work, and if the boss isn't engaged in the core work, then it's never going to happen. You'll always have lousy employee engagement. The docs will never believe what you have to say, and I want to manage up Quint a little bit. Quint and his organization have done an excellent job of teaching people how to be better leaders, but I don't think, Quint, you've made any leaders that didn't already have the passion in them. So I think it's that you got to walk the talk, and it's as simple as that. And then what happens in our place, anyway, is people talk about it. I'm always amazed, I'm sure my colleagues feel the same way, amazed how the smallest action by the CEO is magnified throughout the system, negatively or positively. It's hard to magnify focus on the patient negatively, the purpose of the work negatively. So the comments about the people driving 120 miles round trip, the comment about the VA saying, oh, don't worry, we pay for your time, that's just horse stuff, Time is important, even to people who've got plenty of it. So if you're focused on the patient, you're not going to require somebody to do something like that.
And just a real quick question on the LEAN program. And I'm fascinated by the LEAN program as well. And I know that you mentioned Dow, Lilly, and Subaru as being companies that were involved in that. When you first looked into that concept of LEAN, from the time that you started checking it out to what you consider an institution that's been greatly affected now by LEAN, which is the IU Health System, how much time elapsed in there? What kind of a timeline was that?
It's a minimum of 3 years for us to get to an operational stage. First of all, like many of the facilities here, we're gigantic. And to get something, the VA, it'd be just huge, but it is a common tool. And we start at the top, not the bottom. So it was me and my direct reports who went to Subaru, Dow AgroSciences, and Lilly and sat down with the people. In fact, we sat down with people who had failed as well as people who had succeeded in it. So it took a year just for us to. Secondly, footnote to that, it means that I had to become lean trained myself. By the way, I think I was an ER orderly. That was the job that I pretended I was in order to get my own certification for, but that took a while. Then the second key is put your best people in charge and don't make it a project. So spending more money, it could be that, I don't know if you need to spend more money, because like Dr. Stacy said, no one's sitting around here offering ways to give health systems more money. I don't know why you give anybody in the health industry more money, because we've already eaten everything that we've been given. We need to use what we've already got more efficiently. But we did deploy funds to the lean effort and made it permanent.
I appreciate it, and I, again, am grateful for the work that you do in our district as well. So thank you very much for your presence today, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Waltz, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Chairman. Thank all of you for bringing your expertise here and choosing to